You're listening to OFM.
So just under 3 weeks from now, the Guineas Pro14 kicks off, and for the first time, 2 South African teams will feature in a major European competition. And today we are very privileged to be chatting to the tournament director, David Jordan, as well as the tournament manager, Amy Monaghan. Good day and welcome to OFM, the Sound of Your Life.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thanks for having
Welcome.
us.
David, Amy, welcome to Cheetah's Country. I'm sure you're quite as excited as us for this dawn of a new era in world rugby.
Yeah, we're very excited about this opportunity to expand our tournament into South Africa, and we have a new format as well. So it's an exciting time for us. It's been a challenge trying to get it all done in a very short period of time, and Amy and I have been working flat out for the last 2 months to get there. But no, we're very excited, and it's got a lot of positive feedback back home. I know that the first match that Cheetah's involved with against Ulster at home, there's a lot of interest in that game, a lot of tickets being sold, so I think it'll be a fantastic opportunity.
On Friday, you guys did the official South African launch in Cape Town, and a former Welsh international and British and Irish line, Gerald Davis, who is also the chairman of the Pro14, was there. And he said there are sceptics out there, but the competition will prove them wrong. Needless to say, it is a daunting task, but by the same token, it's an exciting challenge. And quite important is a cultural factor will be brought into it, crossing north and south, bringing them into one competition. So that's very exciting for world rugby.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. I mean, we are traditionally a cross-border tournament anyway. We brought 2 Italian teams in about 7-8 years ago, and that brought a new environment, new culture. All our matches are cross-border. We have a lot of players from South Africa already playing in our tournament, but we provide most of the international players for Six Nations. We provide more than half for the recent British and Irish Lions with Jordan Davis, who was down in Cape Town for the launch, getting the man of the series, and we have the captain, Sam Warburton. So, we've got some interesting players.
Amy, what have been the biggest challenges thus far in organising a huge tournament in a very short time frame?
I think for us it was just getting everything signed off and agreed so we could change our documents, like the participation agreement for all of our clubs, to make sure that we're welcoming everybody in and that it's clear for all of our clubs what has to happen for the competition to change. So making sure that everybody is motivated and positive and buying into what we're trying to do, and it's been fantastic. All of our clubs are very excited, and the 2 teams are great. Looking forward to working with them.
Now that you mentioned in 2 teams, what are the expectations up north from the 2 South African teams in their inaugural competition?
We think they're going to be very strong. Obviously there's a learning curve for them coming to play in Europe. Obviously, going to Zebre for the Cheetahs in January, it's going to be pretty cold, so a bit of a shock to the system, so just a change for the teams, but we know that they're going to be very strong. It's a different style of play, so I think everybody's just excited to see where they go. I think the 2 teams, need a little bit of betting in time. I think next year or the year after, watch out, they're going to be there in the top 3, I'd say.
You mentioned the weather now in Italy could be quite daunting, but by the same token, it's for any of you guys coming down here. We're 40, 35 plus degree temperatures in summer, so it is going to be tough for both north and south to compete with the conditions. Yeah,
I mean, one of the things that we spent a bit of time on was looking at the format of the competition and what time of the year that our teams are down here. Our teams also play in the European competition, and they play 4 matches in December, January, and over Christmas and New Year we have our derby matches. So the Leinster play Munster, Glasgow, Edinburgh, for example. So there's not going to be a lot of travel for our teams down to South Africa over December and January, and the only round that Cheetahs and Kings are involved with will be that January the 6th, 7th round when they're up in Europe. So we've tried very hard to manage the shape of the season to take account of some of these factors.
And you guys made a turn at the Cheetahs today. I visited the stadium. What is your impression about what you saw today and Bloem as a whole?
Yeah, it's fantastic. The facilities in the stadium are world class. So really excited to see a game here and to see how it's all going to function, and then to see what the support is like from Bloemfontein. Hopefully everyone's going to get behind it and we're going to have big crowds for the first game of round 3. So just really excited to see everything in action and, on a match day.
From our side, we've also done a lot of research heading into the big announcements, Nat, and one of the quite interesting things that came up is that the bookies have already tipped the Cheetahs to be in the top 4. Bookies generally aren't wrong, but it's a very optimistic call by them. What is your take on what the bookies have to say about the comp this year?
I would think Cheetahs have got the potential to be in the top half of our table, I think. But our sides play a very good brand of rugby, fast brand of rugby. One of the things that we promote quite often is that we get all these World Rugby stats and the Pro14, which will now be called, we have the ball and play more than any other competition in the world. We have the ball out of scrum. Yeah. And so I think that we play a fast game. And one of the advantages that we have in our tournament is we don't have relegation, so it allows our teams to be expressive and to play a good brand of rugby. So I think the Cheetahs also have got to get and the Kings have got to get their head around playing, in our winter. So, I'm not saying the bookies are wrong, but
we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
Absolutely. Gary Ringrose actually mentioned it on Friday that he feels that the Cheetahs, because he's been keeping an eye on Super Rugby for quite a long time, that the Cheetahs and the Kings, especially the way the Kings played this past season, that they'll be very suited to this competition itself. It's not as if it's the Heineken Cup or these other competitions where it's traditionally a little bit slower and more tactical kind of rugby being played.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we've done our research too, and one of the things that we impressed us about both Cheetahs and Kings was they play a similar brand of rugby to our club, so they'll fit in very well from that point of view. But as Amy has said, this is a quick turnaround. It's good. There are going to be challenges, and it's going to take time. But we're in it for the long haul. And
just to finish off, you say you're in for long haul. What does this mean, or what will this bring to European rugby? Perhaps that Scotland thumps the Wallabies a little bit more often, or Ireland beat the All Blacks a little bit more often.
That's what we're hoping. Yes.
Yeah, make it more competitive, and our aim is to be the best club competition in the world, so us having the best club competition is going to help the unions.
Fantastic.
So it's exciting times ahead.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your stay in South Africa.
You're listening to OFM.